Hi, all. As the founder of Unfold, a warm welcome to all those joining us for the third edition of the Intrapreneurship Conclave. Thank you for your interest and time. This digital edition is unique and it's being hosted on the back of the pandemic and the unprecedented times we have been navigating. As a team, we reflected a lot last year and postponed the conclave a few times in 2020. And we wanted to do this when it felt right, and today we are glad we held back. Plenty of brainstorming on the times at hand, the unfolding future and its imperatives resulted in the theme for this conclave, empowering ideas, regenerating growth. In just about 2 months, we took the idea from concept to action. We are really proud to have got a stellar set of speakers, sponsors, and partners who believe in our story and believe that entrepreneurship is a core value to approaching work and a collective value for the workforce to build innovation capability. The business of Unfold is to help organizations build winning cultures, and this is our contribution to working with industry to make an impact. Our last two editions, since we started in 2017, have been well received. The idea behind the birth of the conclave was to throw a spotlight on entrepreneurs and the entrepreneurial mindset. Entrepreneurs are defined in many ways: dreamers who do, mavericks who chart their own career journeys, who push the envelope and challenge the status quo. Over the next 2 days, we'll be discussing how the potential of entrepreneurship can be leveraged by workplaces to think differently, navigate the uncertain times, and see opportunities in crisis. How can we unleash passion and the potential to pivot and persist? How can we create empowering workplaces and give freedom to experiment and fail? How do we encourage good ideas and regenerate growth? How can the ecosystem help in building this capability? We believe with the Intrapreneurship Conclave, Unfold has built an ecosystem for creative thinkers, problem solvers, and innovators to learn how to succeed. At this juncture, we are proud to announce the launch of the Unfold Strategy Scholarship with the Institute of Product Leadership. Those who attend the masterclass will get an opportunity to apply for it. The formal sessions will be interspersed with well-being breaks hosted by Dr. Ravneet Grewal to help you stretch your mind and body. We recognize the valuable contribution of our speakers with vouchers from our reward partner, Zozo Day. We look forward to you being an active and engaged audience. You can answer polls, you can ask questions, you can feed in your reflections to help us shape the dialogue. So a very, very warm welcome to you. And we look forward. The agenda will be available in the resources section. And a quick announcement. The CII Indian Women Network Annual Summit is on February 19th to 20th. The theme of the summit is Choose to Challenge. Do join in for it next week. Thank you and look forward to a very, very exciting 2 days with all of you. And we are looking forward to your engagement and active participants. So on behalf of Unfold, we welcome you into the Intrapreneurship Conclave. Thank you. So it's a huge pleasure. Ravi Arora. The session will really look at how is India Inc. reimagining disruption and transitioning for growth. What kind of opportunities have emerged from the crisis caused by the pandemic? Today, we'll hear about the Tata Group's experience and the role that entrepreneurs play in the organization. And the keynote will explore ways to reestablish trust and build empathy. There'll be plenty of lessons and takeaway. I'd like to formally introduce, and it's a huge privilege to have Mr. Ravi Arora with us, starting the tone and spirit of the 2021 Intrapreneurship Conclave. Ravi is the Vice President, Group Innovations, Tata Sons, and is responsible for the Corporate Innovation Program. He's the author of 2 books, Making Innovations Happen, How Can You Develop a Culture of Innovation in Your Organization, published by Penguin in 2015, and Igniting Innovation the Tata Way, HarperCollins 2019. A little fun fact about Ravi, despite the fact that he's an author. he hasn't read a book of fiction in the last 20 years. So, Ravi, over to you, and we look forward to you joining us and sharing your wisdom and experience with us today. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Unfold, and thank you very much, Pooja, Ridhima, everybody who has supported my participation in this conference. Uh, I hope I'm audible, and I also hope that my screen is also visible to the participants. Uh, so once again, a very warm welcome on behalf of all the entrepreneurs who work in the corporates, in the companies, small, medium, and large, for this conference. It's really amazing to see a conference on entrepreneurship. I was not aware that this is the third one actually. We hear so much about entrepreneurship that we don't hear much about entrepreneurship. It's only the corporates who talk about this subject, but having a conference is a very unique. So really very happy to see this conference, and I'm sure this will gain strength to strength. This will gain more viewership maybe when it goes into more of a face-to-face format vis-a-vis the digital format. So for this conference, I just thought let me pull out the list of innovative products and services or solutions from in the last decade. I did some Google and I found a very interesting list. And if you look at this list very carefully, you will see that most of exceptions, one or two, have come from someone from an established company, which means intrapreneurs have been responsible for the best products of the last decade. While we hear a lot about startups, we hear a lot about new high-tech companies, new companies. There's a lot of fervor and a lot of excitement around startups, but the data very clearly shows that the most innovative projects still will come out from this table of the established companies, and therefore wanted to start by saying that well done entrepreneurs, and we need many more such entrepreneurs, and we would like to see a few names here from Indian companies as well, maybe in the next decade. So wanted to start with that celebration that this is the right conference addressing the right set of people, not to belittle startup and the founders behind the startups. No, I'm not at all saying that. There is a huge amount of focus and limelight and spotlight already on them. So I just trying to, and I myself learn a lot from the startups and the startup founders. So the idea is not to shift the spotlight, but also give the right amount of share to the entrepreneurs who are working in the company. So now this is my favorite slide, in which one slide it talks a lot about the pains of the entrepreneurs in a company, and so we all talk about having new ideas for innovation. And if you hear a consultant or you hear a senior leader in a company, most of them would ask for new ideas. New ideas, thinking about new ideas is very simple. I'm saying thinking about it is very simple. We all think whenever we take a morning walk or an evening jog, or whenever we are sitting idle, I call it loitering, or even when you are having a drink and talking to your friends, what flows other than the drink is ideas typically. So it's very easy, it's very enjoyable. But the moment the person is supposed to share the ideas with the organization, because the subject is entrepreneur, the life becomes difficult. It is slightly difficult. Sharing ideas is not that easy. There's a lot of gravity which pulls people, which I would say discourages people to share ideas. And there are many of them. And the topic today is not about sharing ideas. I do and I write a lot about these subjects. So most of my views are already expressed, are available on various websites. Now, once the idea is shared somehow or the other, the person who has to take the decision if the idea is worthy of implementation or not is even more difficult. Because now there is a person who has to decide if the idea is good or not. And the moment the person says the idea is good, he or she is putting a monkey on his or her back, which discourages persons to pick up an idea which has a risk element in it, or an idea which goes beyond the one performance appraisal cycle. We're having this conference at the right time. The appraisal season is on. So typically, mindset works is that I'm going to pick up the ideas which I can write and talk about it in my next appraisal time because I might earn a good bonus or I might earn a promotion, which is becomes makes it more difficult. Now, once the idea is selected, investing on that idea is even more difficult, especially because of the quarter to quarter pressure, monthly pressure, the shareholders pressure, the leadership pressure, the annual results pressure. There's so much of pressure that that people find it extremely difficult to invest continuously. People do invest in companies one day, 1 hour, but because innovation needs a perseverance, continuous investment, that makes it extremely difficult. And once suppose you have done a POC or a pilot, then scaling up becomes extremely difficult, and I call it ladder crossing. And that's where the valley of death is there. So we come across this valley of death, and if you see this whole journey, managers need managers who have a brilliant idea, which Pooja just mentioned about mavericks. I also believe a lot about those mavericks in the companies as well. Every company has maverick. There is no way, there is no test. I have not come across a test which is able to separate the mavericks and the non-mavericks. So all companies end up hiring a few mavericks as well. But these mavericks need Sherpas. Imagine climbing a Mount Everest without a Sherpa, and this journey is nothing but climbing a Mount Everest. Every innovation is climbing a peak, and therefore, I personally believe that the combination of the Maverick and Sherpas is the most important combination, which we need to crack in companies. And we don't pay much attention to Sherpas. We talk a lot about the founders or the Mavericks or the people who have the ideas. So this is in brief, which is my overall perspective of the difficult journey of the entrepreneur. And if the entrepreneur, in my way, in the way I think is, even the maverick is an entrepreneur and the Sherpa is the entrepreneur. Both of them have the same, wear the same hat. Sherpas guide and coach multiple people who have the ideas, which means Sherpas guide multiple mavericks, and mavericks only looks upon the support of one Sherpa. And therefore, to me, both are innovators or entrepreneurs inside an organization. So how do we create this culture of having a mavericks and the Sherpas? So we have a program in the Tata Group. I thought I'll just intersperse this concept with the example. So Innovista is a program which I've written. The second book that Pooja mentioned, Igniting Innovation, the Tata Way, is dedicated to this whole program called the Tata Innovista. For example, this year we had 15,000 people who come forward to share their experiences of working on innovation. So 15,000 projects, 40,000 people globally this year, and their experiences and their story can be summarized in 4 boxes or 5 boxes as you see on the screen. Uh, they talk about unsuccessful attempts. How many of you know, have you heard about the unsuccessful attempts to innovate? Every innovation that we celebrate, that we enjoy as customers, would have a few unsuccessful attempts also. But how many of them we know about it? None of them. But it's very important to create the right culture, to celebrate, to talk about, to share, to spread the unsuccessful attempts that people come across when they try to innovate. And a successful R&D is the second one, which people write stories in the Innovista program. The R&D guys, very rarely would you find an R&D guy receiving an award for an innovation, because the most of the people who go on stage and to receive the best product innovation award are the guys from marketing, sales, or the new product guys, or maybe from the manufacturing once in a while, or it could be branding guys. Rarely would you find an R&D guy on the stage receiving an award for innovation. But we thought we should create something for R&D folks as well. The third box, successful innovation, is something that you would have seen, observed in many conferences. We put them into 5 further boxes: product innovations, process innovations, service innovations, design innovations, and innovations which are purely targeted for environment and social cause. So these are the 5 sub boxes within the third box. And we also recognize innovative partners, our supplier partners, our dealers, our retailers, our franchisees, our distributors, who come out with small little innovations to give a better customer experience or a better product as far as the vendors are concerned. So this whole program, which is now more than 14-year-old program, has scaled up to a very large extent, as you can see. And what it does it at a very strategic level, it gives a very inclusive and a level playing field. Everybody can innovate is the message. It's inspirational, And it also serves as a metric, because when we capture these 15,000 innovations, we have a method of putting a number to it, and every company tries to improve that number year after year. So it serves as an very nice innovation metric as well. And once you share a story, I mean, an audience, and if you hear appreciation, claps, it definitely improves your self confidence. And we have done enough research with some academic colleges on self confidence, and maybe we'll talk about it if somebody is interested. Now, one of these awards in the Tata Innovista is Dare to Try, which I talked about. If I go to the previous slide, the second one, which is the first one, unsuccessful attempt. The name of that award is Dare to Try. And this award is given to those teams which show four things, four behaviors, as you can see on the top: exemplary intent, effort, and they exit in a very exemplary manner, and they are helped by the company in making a very exemplary exit, and the reactions are equally exemplary. And you can see how the participation has grown over the last few years from 2008 onwards. It's quite exponential. Imagine teams sharing a story as to how and why they failed. Imagine the audience clapping as to why the team failed. And imagine somebody senior at the Tata level giving a trophy because somebody failed. Very difficult award to run, and very difficult award to receive, and very equally difficult award to present for anybody. But we have been working on it for the last so many years, and we have done few research. We have done a deep, in-depth research with the INSEAD Business School and the SMU, and the statistics gives us confidence that we should continue to run this award. So that was on the culture. Now coming to the digital. Now, ever since the digital has become pervasive, now it has definitely helped innovation in many ways. Pooja talked about ideas. Yes, it definitely helps in ideation. I personally believe that ideas can be bottom up, it can be democratized, but innovations will always remain top down, and they are top down. Which means if I am the head of a function, or a head of a company, or a head of a geography, or a head of a plant, or a factory, or a retail store, I can hear lots of ideas from my employees, but which idea will be implemented is a call that I will take as a head of that function, or as I said, whatever I'm the boss of, because I'm going to take that risk, and I need to decide if I'm going to insulate my employees with the risk or not. So the call is of entirely mine. So innovations are always top down, will remain top down, and that's why we have startup founders. Uh, who so again so digital provides equity to all employees in terms of giving ideas. Everybody is equal. Everybody can be treated equally thanks to digital, unlike the earlier days when people's name was always part of the idea. Now there is a lot of agility you can bring. You can make it more inclusive and broad based. You can do lot crowdsourcing because of digital platform, but it's not easy to do crowdsourcing. It has its own challenges. You can make the processes very flexible thanks to microservices and APIs. We don't need to have a monolith application inside the organization, which normally creates roadblocks for innovation. So thanks to digital, it is helping a lot in terms of creating flexible processes, which is what the need of the hour for innovation. And it majorly reduces the cost of experiments. Uh, Now, the question that I want to leave behind for you guys to think about is: too many ideas are good or bad? And is false positive good or a false negative good when it comes to ideation, when it comes to selecting the ideas? I just thought I'll leave this point on the ideation when it comes to digital. Now, next, I thought let me make a comparison between intrapreneurs and entrepreneurs on different aspects of innovation, right, from ideas to funding. So, in ideas, typically for people who are working in companies, normally incremental is considered to be better, safer. But for if you have to become a startup founder, obviously disruptive is better. For funding, NPV and IRR are the metrics, and for startup, opportunity size, and for B2B, in many cases, profitability becomes a good metric. For go to market, if it is core and adjacent, it's much easier if you are an employee in a company, and the more it is distant from the core, antibodies it evokes in the setup, in the whole setup. And if you are a startup founder, go to market is the valley of death. It's the biggest. Most of the startups fail here in go to market. And B2B, if you're a B2B startup, it evokes antigens inside the corporates, unfortunately. And that's what I'm going to end my presentation with. And in B2Cs, anyway, we all know it's a red ocean. It's all about becoming a unicorn and stuff like that. So it's always it's red ocean all every time you are into a B2C startup. For scale up, the main question that companies or people ask, managers ask is, will it cannibalize my steady product, my cash flow product and stuff like that? Will it be profitable? Will it reduce my profitability percentage or not? Because that's important metric, unfortunately, or fortunately, whatever you call it. For startup founders, for B2B, do you have marquee customers? For B2C, it becomes a scale up. And you want to become, many companies want to become a target for acquisition in the investor. And good thing about this is that the skills required is the same. You need to have emotional intelligence and a lot of perseverance for both. And when it comes to culture and process, these both are equally important, equally and very very important to become a company, an innovative company, because startup ultimately ends up in becoming an established company, and therefore culture and process becomes equally important. But again, the most important is, while the companies may not necessarily need entrepreneurs, but entrepreneurs definitely need intrapreneurs, which is what I was trying to show in the very first slide, that most of the innovations which have come in the last decade are from companies which were founded by many of those companies were founded in the last 10 years. So a startup founder, immediately after he or she gets a product out, starts looking for innovator within the organization. Now, some research that we did, we read a lot about the research that people do, companies do, academia does on startups. So we thought we will do some research studies within the companies. So we picked up 61 serial innovators within the Tata companies who have been serial innovators for last 11 years. And we also mirrored 56 non-innovators. And we also did a lot of research on the CXOs from 50 Tata companies. Amongst various outcomes, I just wanted to highlight one. As to what we interestingly found, that we found a very interesting, the observation was that we found that these serial innovators, they could either be a boss or they could be, which means they could either be a maverick or a Sherpa, if I were to continue to use my earlier language. So these 61 were either mavericks or Sherpas, but we found that they consistently had the same pairing. So if the person was a Sherpa, he would keep working with different or sometimes more or less the same maverick. Or if he or she was a maverick, he would continue to seek out help of Sherpas, maybe same or different. So that was a very interesting observation that we had, that the boss subordinate, they normally hunt in pairs, is what we found in our research. And I just wanted to leave that thought with you. Now, this is where I would like to conclude it's almost the time as well. Is that while I spoke about, a lot about startups and the companies, and we feel that the subject of open innovation, when it is embraced by the corporates, by the companies, it definitely brings a little mindset change that bridges and it brings the startups and the corporates much more closer. Normally I always observe and I talk and I hear a lot of stories from startups and from corporates, and the picture painted is, it is a three-legged race between a startup and a corporate in many cases. It's definitely the corporates don't enjoy and the startups don't want to struggle, and either ways, both, I mean, it's both ways. It will never work like that. So 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 therefore we need to figure out, if you have that mindset, it's more of a mindset thing, and we are trying to work with in the to make that shift in that mindset as to how we Tata companies can be seen as one of the most admired or most sought after corporates for the startups to work and engage with, is something that we have taken it as a mission, as a long journey. I mean, we know that many of the Tata companies are very are quite old. They have, I mean, and therefore it's not an easy thing to do. But we have taken that as a mission, as a project, as to how do we make ourselves most attractive to work with as far as the startups are concerned. And just wanted to show that the Tata Innovers, if you do and Google on tatainnovers.com, you will find a lot of opportunities where we try and invite startups to work with us. And we are working actively on 50 such opportunities. And in fact, I'm very happy to say that out of those 50, 15, the highest share comes from the startups. So we are actively working with 15 startups and 10 small and medium enterprise, which I guess in the last few years actually were startups. So in fact, half the share goes to the startups and the SMEs, and only four cases we are working with large companies. So that's what we are trying to do very actively. So with that, I would conclude and once again congratulate Unfold and the organizers for setting up this conference. And I would like to once again welcome and also wish all the participants to have a very fun-filled and enjoyable and a lot of and get a lot of opportunities to carry back insights and stories for entrepreneurs. So with that, I'll conclude and once again thank the organizers for giving me this opportunity. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ravi. Thank you so much, and for sharing the insights and some very practical recommendations and suggestions. We request you to participate in the rest of the conference. We have some exciting speakers and sessions, and I hope you can stay back for it. We are planning to just show certain research snippets post this, so do look forward to you joining in. And I would encourage all those who are seeing to join us for the conference. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you very much once again. Thank you.
Thank you.